Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
Ham Nation is brought to you by Audible.com. To download the free audiobook of your choice, visit audiblepodcast.com/hamnation.
This is Ham Nation, episode number 55, July 11th, 2011. George's new studio. Good evening, everybody. It's Ham Nation, and we're all here in our regular places tonight. This is Bob Heil, K9EID, and I'm in my normal, whatever normal can be, station lab in Illinois. And we've got a really fun show tonight. And I hope you're calling all of your friends to tell them that, wait a minute, I thought this was to happen last night. No, we changed the nights. Ham Nation's now going to be on Wednesday night at the same time. And we want you to check in with all your nets and all that. Last night, I was able to check in a couple of nets because I could never do that. It's been over a year that I've been on them because we had Ham Nation on a big night for nets, and that's one of the reasons. And we're going to go switch down to Costa Mesa and see how all of that's going. Gordo, how are you doing? Did you get to check into some new nets last night? I bet you did.
I did. They all said, Gordo, you're supposed to be on the air. And I said, well, I am on the air. Anyway, we are delighted with our new time schedule, especially following some of those great TWiT shows. So new night for us, and we love it. Got Julian and Hannah, the newlyweds, here, and they'll be supervising how everything goes together. And Julian's been receiving a lot of videos, and we encourage all of you to come up with a good 5-minute short video, get it pruned down and tuned in, and send it to Julian. He'll give you instructions where to send it, and we'll air it right here on Ham Nation. Bob, back to you.
All right. Well, we have a surprise, too. You know, the last few weeks, the Mississippi Flash with his Torch boys have been tearing down his station, and they put up a new one, and we're going to get to see it tonight. But, hey, George, welcome back. How you doing? You're not in the dining room, are you?
No, hey, Bob. No, not in the dining room tonight. We're in the new shack/studio/man cave here, and having a good time. I've got our buddy Ray Novak sitting over here on the side. He'll join us a little later. But, boy, the last 2 weeks, I tell you, I don't think I've worked so hard in years. I've got a little extra suntan here to prove it, but it's good to finally be settling in. I'm not all the way moved in yet, but I've begun. So great time here, but sure a lot of work.
Well, we're looking forward to the videos you're going to have after a while to show us the progress of where it started and where it is. But it looks great so far. And then who knows what's going to happen with you guys, because now you have all that new facility. That's great. And then back from the fires, Amanda, what a team you and Jeff are. And God bless you for doing all of what you've done the last few weeks. Everything kind of settled down in Colorado for you. It's nice to see you, Amanda.
Thanks, Bob. It's really nice to be back. Wow, the fires were crazy here, you guys. And I can't tell you how much I have learned in the last 2 weeks. I think I've learned more now than I ever did studying for any of my tests to be a ham operator in the first place. It was really complicated. And I'll just give you guys a rundown of what we did here. First of all, we did field day, did excellent. Got a couple hours of sleep, maybe, that whole 24 hours. We got home, and we got a phone call saying they needed more operators because, as you guys know, Waldo Canyon fire started, and it was right outside of Colorado Springs. And what happened is it cut off a main artery of a highway, and it split an Aries district in half. And when that happened, it was about a 3-hour drive to get around to the other shelters that they had set up on the other side. That's where we came into play. They asked if we would come up to Divide, Colorado, and support them in any way needed. And we said, of course. Now, mind you guys, I have never, ever been in an emergency situation when it comes to ham radio before. So it was quite a learning curve and quite intimidating for me. I think that I had a lot of great support with Jeff, as well as 2 other guys from our district in District 16, WA0NLK and KD0MBL. They were really supportive in just getting in there and doing it. And when we got up there, we didn't think that there was much of an emergency until Tuesday. And then things took a turn for the worse with the fire. And of course, as you guys mostly know, 346 homes were lost, which was devastating. Of course, we didn't know it at the time. We were in the American Red Cross shelter and just doing our normal operations. We're passing health and welfare traffic as we were supposed to. So we had no idea any of this was going on. Then all of a sudden, 3 more shelters had to open immediately. And I have to say, District 14 was on the ball. They got operations up and running within the hour of each of those shelters opening up. So it was a lot of devastation there. And we got spread so thin that the Emergency Management Office finally asked for the Colorado section of Aries to come join and please come back up and fill in wherever needed. And they did that, and they did a great job. And I had learned so much from that. It's unbelievable. I would really like to encourage everybody to please study up on ICS, because you never know when you're going to be called. I certainly didn't think that I would ever be called up. Also, study packet. Please study packet. It's very important to emergency situations. And when they call you out there, they are going to expect you to know it, or at least have an idea of it. And that's very necessary. Now, I just have to talk about 2 very special people that I met while assisting up there in Divide, Colorado. And I have to mention, I have names for them. I call him the Professor. That's Wes, K0HBZ. Wonderful, brilliant guy. Gave me a very quick crash course on packet and helped me figure out how to work through tactical nets, which is very important. Also, I call the other one Captain America, because Don, he was evacuated from Woodland Park, and he kept his cool the whole time, ran the show, and his call sign, by the way, is K0DRJ. That's Don. And he was just right on top of everything that we needed to make it through the day. Our days were about 15 hours long, and we all did sleep in the shelters there. And I really got to know a lot of the evacuees there, which was just heart-wrenching. Just to see the fear and the worry in their eyes sometimes was really sad. But you'd get up every morning and they'd be out there. They'd make coffee for you. They'd bring it to you if you needed it. It was really a wonderful experience. And it's been so touching that I actually decided to take the position of emergency coordinator for my own district, District 15. So we have a new era starting here in Colorado for us. I think that we have jump-started a lot of people to get involved in Aries and get involved in being ready for those emergency communications. So with that, you guys, I think that's all I've got. So I'll send it back to you.
Well, it's wonderful to hear the stories, and I know that all of you work really hard and diligently, and we need to really get further into some of the actual hardware, the things that you used in amateur radio to make all this happen. Gordon, you do this almost on a daily basis of teaching people, and we should probably get some of those Colorado guys and gals in here and maybe bring them on some night and let's talk more about that. What you think, Gordo?
I think that would be great training. And Amanda is absolutely correct. Digital plays such an important part in Red Cross shelters and in emergency comms. So we echo what Cheryl says. Jump right in there and become part of the emergency communications picture, and then add digital, and you'll be well prepared. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, that's really super, and we appreciate you being out there and doing it all and representing the entire amateur radio community, and that's what it's all about, Amanda. You and Jeff are to be commended. So nice to have you back, and we'll be talking to you more. But you might be thinking about getting Wes and some of the guys and gals together, and we'll do something here on Ham Nation. I think that would be really good if you can start to put that together. Okay.
I would love to. And in fact, I'm going to a local ham fest here this weekend where they had a comm trailer that played an essential role. So I'm going to try to get some video for that, and I can show it off for all of those guys up north that put it together. They put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in it.
That's super. Okay. Well, enjoy yourself in your home again. And I really appreciate you taking time to explain to everybody what some of the really important things happened on the other side of that fire. So thanks for doing all of that. That's wonderful. Amanda and Jeff, they're a real team in Colorado, and we're lucky to have them as part of our Ham Nation team. And going along with that, we're always reaching out for more and inventive ways to do things when we can't get antennas up, or all of our antennas are down. So Julian, you've got a very interesting thing that happened at a school. Let's talk about that a little bit, Julian.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. Actually, I was in contact with Levi Meyer, K6LCM. He's part of the Anacapa school in Santa Barbara area. And his students there, some of whom are hams, went on a high-altitude balloon project. And last year in their project, they got up to 91,122 feet. But this year, they wanted to see if they could beat that. So watch this video from the Anacapa school and see what the kids there did. It's pretty amazing.
I'm Levi Maya, K6LCM, and I've had the privilege of being the founding faculty advisor to the Anacapa Near Space Exploration Club at Anacapa School in Santa Barbara, California. In September of 2010, students at the school formed the Anacapa Near Space Exploration Club. The crew set their sights on building a high-altitude balloon probe to launch into the Earth's upper atmosphere. The first team of young engineers designed and built the Anacapa Amateur High Altitude Balloon 1, or AHAB-1, over the course of the 2010-2011 school year. And on May 22nd, 2011, the craft lifted off from a site near Paso Robles, California, for a 2-hour and 10-minute flight over the California Central Coast, returning to Earth with a memory card filled with stunning images from an altitude of 91,122 feet. Following the success of their first probe, a second team of students, consisting of new and returning members, decided that AHAB-2 should add live data reporting capabilities, high-definition video recording, an amateur television transmitter, and a Geiger counter. In order to accomplish these live wireless downlinks, 2 of the students dedicated time to study for and pass their amateur radio license exams. Armed with general and technician class tickets respectively, Alex, KJ6UGF, and Jen, KJ6UGH, together with non-hams Grayson, Julio, and Chris, designed, built, tested, redesigned, rebuilt, retested, and finalized a system which used homebrew electronics and ham radio to give the ground crew a peek at what it looked like to ride into near space. On Saturday, May 5th, 2012, at 6:52 a.m. from a site off Highway 166, just northwest of New Cuyama, California, the team released their masterpiece into the stratosphere.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, up, and away. Let it go. Let it go, Jim.
With the support of members of the Santa Barbara Amateur Radio Club and the Amateur Television Network, we outfitted ground stations with high-gain dish antennas and watched as the tiny 1-watt amateur TV beacon sent live video and camera data from the onboard GoPro to the surface through altitudes of up to 30,000 feet. Friends and family who couldn't be at the launch followed along on PCs and smartphones using APRS.FI. Thanks to ham radio, folks all over the world could watch the balloon climb to an altitude of nearly 112,000 feet. Along with the balloon's position and altitude, live temperature, pressure, and humidity data from the custom-built Arduino was sent over APRS using Bionix microtrack gear. A 25 milliwatt, 2.4 gigahertz Comtech FM TV transmitter from Harlan Technologies and a 1-watt amplifier were selected as the system of choice to transmit live NTSC video from the probe. Recovery was thankfully very easy. After an unexpectedly long 3-hour flight, the balloon touched down 50 miles east of the launch site in ranchland just short of the Sierra Nevada.
Well, I was very nervous last year because I was afraid that we were going to lose it, we weren't going to get anything back, but after we retrieved it, I was happy, I was ecstatic, and I thought this year it could be done again.
The returning students are already thinking of ways to challenge next year's team with ideas for streaming the live video online and possibly adding more scientific experiments to the payload. To learn more about ANSEC, the Anacapa Near Space Exploration Club, visit anacapaschool.org/ANSEC. That's ANSEC. Or find us on Facebook.
All right, and the fun thing about that is that when the balloon actually landed 50 miles away, it landed in another ham's ranch land. So it was kind of a good coincidence. So that was portable or balloon portable ATV. In the background over my right shoulder here, we've got the amateur TV network going. So another fun thing that you guys can do with ham radio. So stick it in a balloon, stick it in your shack. Let's use some ATV. Back to you, Bob.
That is just amazing. What I'm so thrilled about is that these are students who says that education's not working. In some circles, they certainly are, but it's driven by amateur radio operators that's going into the schools and helping. So it's really remarkable. That was great. Thanks a lot for putting that together, Julian, and congratulations to all the students, the teachers, and the guys that stood by and helped them with that. That's great. Almost makes me want to go back to school. No, wait a minute. Oh, gosh. We're going to switch back out to Petaluma and W6TWT. Leo Laporte is a message for us. So, Leo, take her away.
Hey, let me interrupt you, hams, for one brief moment and talk a little bit about Audible.com. You know, I think hams are a natural audience for Audible. First of all, because you guys use your ears a lot. You like to listen. Listening is something that's kind of built into your DNA, right? Plus, hams have a deep, abiding interest in the world around them. And that's where, for me, Audible is so important. I don't have time to read much anymore, but I'm very interested in history, in politics, how things work, how things are done. I'm listening to an incredible, for instance, biography of Walter Cronkite right now. It's just on Audible. It's just fantastic. If you're interested in the early days of radio, the early days of journalism, how Walter Cronkite became the most trusted man in America, this is a fantastic book. And I can get it for you for free right now. I can indeed. If you visit audiblepodcast.com/hamnation. All right? audiblepodcast.com/hamnation. You'll be signing up for the gold account. That's a book a month. But here's the good news, because one other thing I know about hams, they don't have a lot of money to spend anymore, right? I'm just kidding. You spend it all on equipment. Your first month is free, so it's going to cost you nothing. You go there, sign up for the gold account. First month is free. First credit is free. I can recommend a lot of great books. This Cronkite book, you're going to enjoy this, but there are a great many other books you can listen to, and they're all available to you. 100,000 titles strong. They play back on your iPhone, your iPad, your Android devices, your Windows devices. Yes, they have Audible now for the Windows Phone 7, on many GPSs, the Kindle, lots of stuff. So you'll be able to listen as you're mobile, as you're getting around. You can listen at work. You can listen while you're commuting. I listen at the gym. It really takes the sting out of that treadmill, I got to tell you. audiblepodcast.com/hamnation. Your first month's free, your first book's free. Cancel at any time, pay nothing, but the book is yours to keep for life. All right, we're going to, just remember that. Do it, okay? Now we're going to send it back to the hams. Gentlemen, lady.
Thanks, Leo. Very good to see you, and I look forward to reading some things via Audible. That's cool. Well, we're going to take a listen to Newsline. They had a tremendous happening. Perhaps Don will give us a little insight, but they had a great anniversary on this wonderful thing. I call it Westlink because that's where it started. Bill Pasternak and the guys put it together. But we're very happy and always fortunate to have some of the guys from the Newsline organization. And Don Wilbanks has been here and helping us so much get through news of the week, because a lot of us don't really pay attention to the news. We're too busy working on the DX. So, Don, what's going on in the world of amateur radio from Newsline?
From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 1821, here are the Ham Nation headlines for Tuesday, July 11, 2012. The governors of several states have declared emergencies as temperatures rose in the aftermath of powerful storms that swept through the mid-Atlantic region Friday night, June 29th. The storms did damage from Indiana to New Jersey, although the bulk of the destruction was felt in West Virginia, Washington, and suburban Virginia and Maryland. Winds gusted to 91 miles per hour, equal to that of a Category 1 hurricane at the Fort Wayne, Indiana International Airport. They're comparing the magnitude of the event to the remnants of Hurricane Ike that came through in September 2008. Hams performed multifaceted roles, from local discussion between each other, some relaying storm information to the National Weather Service, others using advanced ham technology to relay data on the storm and reports of damage to authorities. Hams in counties where storms raged called repeaters to the east, warning them of what they would be expecting, allowing them to mobilize before the storm hit. The same storm that wrought havoc across the Midwest and Mid-Atlantic states also took its toll on the Internet, including one very popular ham radio website. According to Fred Lloyd, AA7BQ, who owns QRZ.com, the severe weather led to an outage of what's known as Amazon's Elastic Compute Cloud Center in North Virginia. The result was that services such as Netflix, Pinterest, Instagram, and other popular sites, including QRZ, became unavailable just after midnight Eastern Time, Saturday, June 30th. According to Lloyd, the outage underscores the vulnerabilities of depending on the public cloud versus having your own data center. A new DX record has been achieved on the aging Oscar 7 ham radio satellite, this between Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and the Slovak Republic. The GPS measured 7,849-kilometer QSO between GridSquare's EN31VX and JN88MF, surpassed by 6 kilometers the prior 7,843-kilometer record set back in 2010. It appears that an even longer distance is attainable. Erin King, AK4JG, a 17-year-old from Columbus, Georgia, who refounded her high school's radio club, then lofted a ham radio carrying balloon to over 90,000 feet, recovered the flight data, and used it to produce a truly striking video of that flight, has been named as recipient of the 2012 Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year Award. Erin, who is the daughter of Paul, K4ETY, and Patricia King of Columbus, has been a ham since only 2009 and holds an extra class license. Erin says, ironically, she was in attendance at last year's Huntsville Ham Fest, where the Young Ham of the Year Award is presented, and never dreamed she'd be the one nominated and chosen to receive the next one. You can hear audio of Erin's reaction to winning in this week's Amateur Radio Newsline Report. The 2012 Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year Award will be presented to Erin King, AK4JG, Saturday, August 18th at the Huntsville Ham Fest in Huntsville, Alabama, and we hope to see many of you there. Now, before we go, this newscast marks the beginning of our 35th year of service to the world's amateur radio community. We find it hard to believe that so many years have gone by since Jim Hendershot, WA6VQP, with some help from Bill Pasternak, WA6ITF, produced the very first Westlink radio network newscast, which eventually became the Amateur Radio Newsline. That was some 1,820 weeks ago. This is week 1,821. Believe it or not, in all that time, we have never missed a newscast release date. With that in mind, we want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of those who have come forward over the years as members of our all-volunteer team of writers, producers, reporters, and news anchors. It's their selfless devotion that's made all of this possible. And to all of you in the vast worldwide audience who have so graciously supported our efforts these many years. To you, we make the promise of continuing to bring you the news of amateur radio and personal communications as we have the past 1,821 weeks. Also to do our very best to keep improving the on-air product as we proceed into the weeks, months, and years ahead. Let me end this week by simply saying thanks to all of you for being part of the Amateur Radio Newsline family. Without your encouragement and ongoing support, we would have no reason to exist. It's you who make it all worthwhile, and we're very honored to be a part of Ham Nation. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news, brought to you each and every week for 35 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.
There we go. We're so happy that Don could be here. He's going to be here live next week, but he's out on a little venture, and he'll talk about that next week. And congratulations to Bill. Bill Pasternak has just given his whole life to bringing all of us the news. So congratulations, Bill. Gordo, you've got some emails, and you've got some, I think, some really neat little shorts. So let's see what's happening. What you got in your short section?
All right, here are our short shots. But again, Bob, you're absolutely correct. 35 years. Wow, have they worked hard to produce this great show. All right, short shots for tonight deal with a very popular topic we've had a lot of emails on, and that is the popularity of the 6-meter band. And let me tell you, 6 meters last couple of days has been a fun band. Technician class operators, you have full power, full privileges on 6. So, Alex, let's take a quick look at some 6 training. First of all, a big antenna helps, but you can get by with a 3-element beam. This is the Innov antenna, new from Europe, that really performed well on the back of our van during field day. And our next shot shows that, yes, you can actually support quite an antenna for field day operations on a communications vehicle with a little tilt-up mount. And this antenna right here is tied into, for a moment, the Helicraft. And down at the bottom of the 6-meter band is where you'll find plenty of activity, 50.110. It's a good hangout. Now, that Innov antenna, as big as it looks on a 30-foot boom, you would think would take hours and hours to put together. First time it did after losing screws in the grass, but you can see that at field day, it went up pretty nice and easily. And this is where the activity is going to be found for a lot of CW activity down in the bottom of the band. 50.180, there was some activity there, and CW is a very popular mode on the 6-meter band. Here is the frequency, 50.125. That is the calling channel, and we encourage everyone, make your calls, make yourself known, and then QSY up the band. Do not camp out on 50.125, because on a band opening, you won't have a lot of local pals that know that you're stuck on this frequency. So grab the knob and get off of 50.125. Well, how about 50.127? Nope, too close. Get up to 50.130, 135 and up, and you'll do just fine. But try and give 50.125 a little bit of elbow room. And, of course, with your 6-meter radio, good grounding will ensure that you don't get RF back into your Heil headset or other microphones attached to your rig. And we always ground with wide copper foil. And most rigs have a little ground terminal that you see we're going to put this on for your 6-meter operation. So good grounding is of paramount importance. A good set of headphones will help you if you're out in the open on 6 meters. Run some good quality coax. You can get by with RG8X, but I like to use RG213. Here we have the Heil headset set up for some good operations during a field day operation down at Quartzsite on 6 meters. And again, ground foil is available from ham stores as well as Metal and Cable Corporation. Metal and Cable, you can Google it, and they've got ground foil in the rolls ready for you to plumb your entire shack. So that was the Gordo 7-second short shots. And again, be watching 50.125 on 6 meters for plenty of activity, especially the last couple of days with those HIM-class flares. Once you make contact or in announcing a CQ, once the band begins to fill up, call CQ and tell them, listening, 50.150, 50.180. Move up the band Don't camp out on 50.125. And one last note, if you're local but with a different number call district in your call sign, let them know you're WB1ABC portable 7, or else you're going to have all the 7s locally thinking that you're back in one land. So if you do have a different number than your local number, let them know as you call CQ so you don't break pile-ups only to find out you're 500 miles away or even closer yet. So have fun on 6. It's a fraternity. Don't camp out on 50.125 and enjoy all of the action up on 6 meters. Bob, back to you.
All right. I'm going tomorrow to pick up one of my Gonset communicators. This is a rig of 1957, 58, and I usually take that and move it up to 50.4. That's where all the AM guys are, a lot of us, and it's a lot of fun to go up there on AM. And Paul Schlip, K0RWU's rebuilt he's a Gonset communicator nut. He's just great at restoring those. So we're going to pick that up tomorrow, hopefully, and get that back on the air. As many of you know, I haven't been here for about 2 months because we've been in our second home down in the Springfield, Missouri area. And Sarah found this home. It's really wonderful. And she said, you got to have that. It's perfect for ham radio. And God love her. It is wonderful. It's 5.5 acres, and we're doing things I've never been able to do in my whole 55 years, just about, of ham radio, building wire antennas. Anybody can do this. You don't need 5.5 acres, but it's the way we did it and how we did it. I'm going to show you some of the things that are really unique. So if you can bring up some of the slides, let's start looking at some of these, Alex. This is a room that we tore all the carpet out, and I think we went through this several times. I use a toilet flange with 3-inch PVC to bring 15 coaxes into it. And then the next one shows what happened when we got it all finished, and it really looks nice. Got the new floor in, and what you see hanging out there is a B&W coax switch. Now pay attention to that, because we're going to see the front of it in a little while when it's in the cabinet. You can see the back of it right now. And in fact, switch back to me. I'll show you what I have. One of these in my hands. This is the B&W. I love these old. This is only a 2-way, but the back of it, we have all of our inputs and outputs here. And we'll go back to that slide again, and you can see how that all works when the coaxes get hooked up to the back. Okay, the next slide, we show the second position, and then the next slide will take us to the table. This is very interesting. Sarah found these tables at Ethan Allen, just a regular table that drawer pulls out and makes a place for your computer. But I had a cabinet builder build a special thing that I designed that just slid in underneath it and covered up the coaxes. Now, the next slide shows you the front of that switch you saw, and the little box around it that houses all of the coaxes. And I switch from 75 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters, 17, and 10. It's all right there. That switch switches those coaxes. I will have another one of those built for the other table. But I did one other thing. I took this from George. George, I stole this from you. The next slide, I put a workbench drawer. That little drawer pulls out. So I have it's not as big as yours, George, but I do have a work table that I can solder on. The next slide shows that pulled out, Alex. I think oh no, there's the back of it. There's the back of all those coaxes coming in to the back of that switch. And it really works slick. It just slid right under that table, covered everything up, and there'll be some more equipment going. You'll see my little 480 there to the right. The next slide is how we got all of the 15 coaxes. 2 of them are the switching and the rotor cables. Then they go out on the next slide. under the driveway. Had a guy come in with a horizontal drill and drilled under the driveway. And they go out. The last coax went out to the 500-foot mark in that property. But then the next one, we show how we covered them up. And that goes all the way out. And then next we have how I get them out of the ground. This is a very simple little box. The next slide shows a close-up of that. This is a valve box for an irrigation system. And it just sits, it's about maybe 18 inches high, sits down in the ground, and my coax comes up out of all those as they go down through the meadow. And that coax you see coming out of the top, that happens to be the 20-meter antenna. And then next is, you can see it if you look hard. You can see the 20-meter and the 40-meter and the 17-meter wires, and they're strung between the trees. These are, we call them messenger lines. This is 5/8 Dacron rope, and then we just wire tie the antennas to them. And so the antennas can hang freely, and there's no support problem. What's really nice about it is I can let them up or down from the trees. I have these in the tree. We showed you how to do that a few weeks ago. I'll come back in future weeks and show you even more there. The next slide is very interesting. That is a box that I got at Walmart. It's just a container box about 1.5 feet high. That has the coax tuning lines, the phasing lines, and the remote switch from MFJ, their Ameritron remote switch. And it switches the 2 phased antennas on 75 meters. And it's a remarkable piece of technology, very simple. I use the MIT designed coaxial dipoles built for the radar in the war back in 1938. They started it. And that's where all of the phasing lines and the switching is. There you'll see the 2 wire antennas. These are the coaxial dipoles that are phased. They're 64 foot apart, and they really play. And I can switch them either east or west. And it's just like a 2-element beam, but on 75 meters, they're 125 foot long. It'd be a little hard to rotate that. And I think I had one other. There's the diagram of how that works. The feed line comes in, it goes to that remote switch, and if you switch it to the left, that drives that driven element or that driven antenna to the east. But the other antenna is delayed by that 43 foot of phasing line. And that means it's behind the driven element. Or I can switch it to the right, and the antenna then is driven to the west. It really works. So try that sometime. It's really great. Anybody that has any questions, email me. I can email you some of these, but it's fun to get back into the whole fold of things here. And I'm having so much fun putting all this together down in Springfield. We're there on the weekends and sometimes a little more, but happy to get back in here because I miss my soldering iron. Not that I don't have one down there, but got a new project. I'm working on a new microphone dealie for some real special booms that we're going to have here probably in another, I don't know, 6 or 8 months at Heil Sound. I have all this stuff. I'm always building stuff, and I just love sharing some of this with you guys. Tonight's kind of a maiden voyage. You're listening to me through this little guy. This is our new USB. I'm not using the Elise's board tonight. You're hearing me through the new USB. The microphone's plugged in here, and then it comes out of the D to A converter, and I have bass and treble controls. That's a little thing that looks like we have a patent pending on it. There's a lot of these little mic preamps out there, but none of them have equalization. And you gotta be able to EQ things. And I have the PR781 plugged into it, and it's just wonderful to be able to have this kind of quality of audio and not have to go through a lot of money, a lot of trouble, a lot of hooking up. You just plug a couple of things together and boom, you're there. Because we all have problems getting good audio into a computer. either one, PC or Mac. Not anymore. And there again, I sit around here at this place you see right here and dream all this stuff up. You give me the ideas, and here we are. So how many CW ops said, you need to build me a headphone? Not a boom, a headphone. So we did. So it's just such fun. It's such fun. I was on 75 meters the other day talking to one of my really good friends, W9JOX. He's got a new Elecraft, and he was using one of our 781s plugged into it. I want you to listen what you can do with a little box about this big today. Let's see if Alex can bring that up for us. This is W9JOX.
The K3, actually, I like it better than my Orion, too. The only thing is I wish you could adjust the audio bandwidth like you can in the Orion. I can't do that with this one. Over.
Oh, I thought they had some bandwidth adjustment.
Well, they for extended sideband, you know, but that's I was. You know, I'm really slowly getting into it, but I guess, yeah, if you can go into the menu, they got a thing there for extended sideband, and yeah, I guess it is, come to think of it. I forgot about that. That's right, 3.0 or 4.0, so yeah. You're right, I slipped up. No, it's a really nice radio, and it's half the size of my Orion. But I waited 8 months for it, so I've been real happy with it. I've got everything in it I could put into it, and I figured, well, if I don't like it, I could always sell it because there's plenty of guys looking for it. But I'm really amazed something this as compact as it is. It really does a nice job. I have no complaints.
That's on single sideband, and what's remarkable about that is with the PR781 plugged into it, there's 8-band EQ in that little box. It doesn't sound like single sideband. It sounds like AM almost. It's really great, and Eric's done a great job. Eric Schwartz, who is one of the co-founders of Elecraft, was Leo Laporte's roommate in college, and it goes way back. So I heard JOX on the other night. I want to listen to him a little bit, and I couldn't believe what he was doing. I thought maybe he had a bunch of audio processor stuff. Nope, PR781 into that little box, and away he went. So I thought you'd like to hear some 75-meter single sideband, although it sounded really, really beautiful. So, George, you have a new home that you're in. And I have another home, but you have a new building and all that on your home site. And let's see what's going on in Mississippi tonight. It's so good to see you back.
It's good to be back, Bob, and to be in my own place again and not in the dining room or somewhere else. The workbench back here doesn't have a lot of tools hung on it yet. I've just began moving in this week, and there's still a lot to do. I've got to put trim in here and do some odds and ends yet. But I do have my desk in here and a few shelves, and I've started getting some stuff back in. Only one radio right now. Just got a dual band sitting over here. The rest of them are still in boxes. But it's coming along nicely, and it's been a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed seeing the tour of your new shack there a while ago. And as mine comes along, I'll get us some pictures or video of it. I do have one little short video here of my buddy Wayne and his brother Vince, who came over and helped me build this thing. It's been about 2 weeks here, and we did everything. I bought the building. It's a metal building, and it had no interior in it, so we did the wiring, the insulation, the paneling, sheetrock, ceiling, and all. And it was a lot of work because it's been hot here. Welcome to the new W5 JDX Ham Shack. These are my two master carpenters here. We had two other guys helping us, but these two did the most work. Of course, you recognize Wayne here. Say hello, Wayne.
Hello.
Are you hot and tired yet?
No, not at all. I was last night, but not now.
Okay, well, too bad there's nothing much left to do except move in.
That'll be nice. That will definitely be nice. And
it's kind of green, isn't it?
A little bit. It'll be nice to see that actually in action here for too long.
Well, we may be seeing it in action right now. I don't know. We'll have to see.
You can see this high pressure front that's moving in down here. So.
Yeah. And Vince, Wayne's brother. What's your call, Vince?
N5KQW.
N5KQW. Appreciate your help too. It's been quite an undertaking, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And I am hot and tired.
I am too. And you know, it's what, 1st of July here in Mississippi, and bad time of year to be doing something like this. But then again, you know, it's about the only time I could be sure that trucks weren't going to get stuck in the yard trying to move the old building and move this one in. So it's been a lot of fun. Wayne, what would you say is probably the most interesting aspect of this particular man cave here?
That it's yours.
Well, that's the most appealing aspect. Other than the green wall, anything notable that we did in here that's maybe unusual?
The vaulted type ceiling, which was a pain in the butt to put up.
That was a lot of extra work. It's suspended ceiling tiles. However, we didn't suspend them. We screwed them right to the 2x4s here on the roof. That allowed us to get, maybe 9.5 feet in the middle, get it up a little extra high for video light. Yeah, there's still tape marking it up there, and you may notice we don't have all the molding up yet. That's going to come, but, you know, it's time to move in. I've been shackless too long. Vince, you were just in the old shack. Any size comparisons?
No, there's no comparison. It's much bigger.
It is. Just hearing the measurements, 10 by 16 going up to 12 24, it doesn't seem like that much, just 8 foot longer, but it's like the difference between, I don't know, a football field and a tennis court when you step inside.
Or my Neon and your Expedition.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be a good comparison, too. Appreciate all the work, guys. It's been 2 weeks that we've been hammering on this, or has it been 3?
This is the third weekend. Third weekend. So two full weeks, and yeah, a lot.
Yeah, quite a bit. And we knocked it out, though. We couldn't work on it every day, but we got in here and insulated it and put the paneling up, did the ceiling, and just laid down the carpet here on the floor.
Connections for the ham gear, audio gear, what else?
Networks, cable TV, a bunch of, that punch block down there. Let me show you right here. This is where all my telephones and some audio cables run to the house. This punch block goes to another one inside the house there. So when I originally put in Shack 1.0, I ran that, and it's got a bunch of Cat 5s and several dual pair audio cables running inside, telephone wiring, cable television, internet. That's all going in here, and this is an electrical outlet box. I don't remember what you call these. I'm not really an electrician, but it's mounted in the wall here. There's a piece of 2-inch PVC that runs on down to the bottom here. It's drilled out, and so I can just run things right through there to the ground. This one over here on this side is going to be for our ham shack antennas. Now, it's only a 2-inch PVC pipe that goes to the ground there. That's enough for the antennas that I have had. If I was thinking clearly, I should have probably put another one of these in, because you can never have too many holes for antennas. You're always wanting to add something. But it'll accommodate my current ones. I've also got 3 microphone cables run from here back to the back wall with the green screen for doing video work. Got an HDMI cable there. Piece of Cat 5 that also runs back there to the other end. And plenty of outlets all over the place. There's outlets, at least 4 on the side walls. 220 outlets on both sides as well for the amplifier, and hopefully a future AM broadcast transmitter that I plan to convert. I really appreciate the help, guys.
My pleasure.
And I owe both of y'all 2-3 big ones.
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right, thanks.
That's really great.
Look who I found, Bob.
Look at there.
That's Ray. Ray. Hi, Ray.
Howdy. Did you? You going to help George put things together, or are you just there checking it out? I mean, did you bring your hammer?
Just checking it out today, but I'm going to be down here for about 6 weeks, so expect that I'll be out here helping George do some things.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we're going to put him to work, Bob.
Good. That's good. Got to do that. All right. All right. George, I forgot to ask you, with all of your building and additions and so on, did you do anything on a contest this week? We going to do a contest, or are we going to hold it off till next week?
Well, we'll do a contest. As a matter of fact, you know, during the last Tuesday night show that we had, we ran a contest, and it was for an MFJ 24-hour clock, which I believe I have one right here. And our question was, you may remember, I believe you had some pictures from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And we asked the question, why would they put the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland? And we got an answer from Lou Roberts, KI6YWX, and he says, I believe the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame connection to Cleveland is that Alan Moondog Freed, a local DJ at WJW, was credited with promoting the genre rock and roll and actually coined the term. He also sponsored and held the first rock and roll concert at the Cleveland Arena on March the 21st, 1952. It was called the Moondog Coronation Ball. So congratulations, Lou. We're going to send you that 24-hour MFJ clock. And for next week, we're going to give away another copy of Jerry Buston's Constructing HF Wire Antennas book, a great book, and I'd suggest you check it out. Whether you win this one or not, look around. You can find this book online where you can order it, and some of the ham dealers sell it as well. A lot of good information in there. And if you'd like to win that, let's see, we were building stuff this week. We were building a building, and we did some wiring. So I'm going to ask the question, what's the best wire to use for wiring these outlets and the electricity in here? Is it copper or is it aluminum? Send your answers to me at hamnationcontest@gmail.com, and we'll pick another winner for next week. And I know Ray knows the answer over here, but he's not telling, are you?
Not going to say a word.
That's right. Cool. All right. That's wonderful. Well, we hope to have more reports from the new places that comes along, and I'm sure we're going to see some fun things with that green screen. You're going to be able to, I can imagine what you three guys are going to come up with. Hey, Gordo, what do you think is going to happen when these three guys get in front of that green screen?
I think we're going to be green with envy with all of the great graphics that'll follow them behind their smiling little faces, huh?
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, George, congrats. It looks great, and we'll look forward to seeing more progress and as you go on each week. Hey, Ray, anything new from Bellevue, Washington that we can talk about?
Nothing really yet that we can talk about. Where they're going to see a lot of things released is probably going to be at the end of August at the Tokyo Ham Fair. So I'll still be down here. Or no, actually, I'll be on my way back to Washington. My family came down here, took a week's vacation, and Cindy's having fun with the grandkids down here, and I'm working remotely for the next 6 weeks, and then we end up going back. So I won't be going to Japan this year, but definitely will be watching YouTube for all those videos that everybody likes to put on there on the new stuff.
That's great. All right. You going to be at Huntsville?
Yes, sir. Actually going to be leaving right after Huntsville.
All right. Yeah, I found out a couple of days ago I am going to be in Huntsville, so I'm going to give you more insight as to what's going to happen. They're going to be down there with Gigaparts. I'm really excited to be a part of the Huntsville Hamfest this year. Well, we appreciate you guys, and thanks very much for all the video and everything. What's Alex doing with the video tonight, I wonder?
I see he was able to have some fun with the green screen, too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got to get back over to Julian because he's got something happening with W0ZF. And let's see what's going on with that portable HF antenna. Julian, what you got going?
Yeah, well, we've already seen yours, Bob, and wow, that's an awesome antenna farm there. You don't have to go that big, and that's the message of this video from W0ZF Dave Fugelberg. He did a great video. Take a look at the guidelines, which Alex is going to pop up on the screen there for when you want to introduce our video or send us your videos. He went awesome. He did everything on a Galaxy Nexus phone. He plugged in a mixer from basically a Behringer mixer, plugged that into the headphone/microphone jack of the phone, did all his editing in iMovie, and he came up with this great video. So, Alex, roll it. And
Hi, I'm Dave, Whiskey Zero Zulu Foxtrot. Like most hams, I like to spend a lot of time here in the shack, but sometimes it's nice to get outside, get some fresh air, and of course get on the air. Little radios like my FT817 are easy to grab and go, but what about an antenna? To go portable, I like an antenna that's quick to set up, easy to carry, and makes the most of a few watts. Oh yeah, of course it has to be cheap. So what are we waiting for? Let's build one. We'll start with a fiberglass telescopic fishing pole. This one cost me 20 bucks in the sporting goods department. It's about 20 feet long when fully extended. The sections just pull out and lock together by friction. To support the pole, I use 4 pieces of thin nylon rope or heavy string. Each piece is about 20 feet long. Tie one end of each of the ropes to a hole drilled near one end of a 3/4 inch PVC coupler. This will be the guy ring when we put up the antenna. Cut 4 small strips of wood and drill 3 holes in each. Attach the other end of each rope to one of these wooden adjusters. You may have seen something similar on a tent rope. It allows you to loop the end around a tent stake and tighten the rope. The antenna itself is just a piece of wire. I use thin speaker wire because it's light and easy to work with. The wire should be about a 1/4 wave long at the frequency you plan to operate. To determine the length in feet, divide 234 by the frequency in megahertz. For the middle of the 20-meter band, that works out to about 16.5 feet. I add a few inches for making connections. You can always trim it later. Cut a second piece about the same length and strip about 1 inch of insulation from one end of each wire. Finally, get some stakes to anchor the support ropes. You can make these from some stiff wire or just use some tent pegs or long nails. Final assembly is simple. Pull up the top section of the fishing pole and place the PVC coupler over it. Tie one end of the antenna wire to the tip of the pole and put a banana plug on the other. Wrap up the wire and support ropes for transport and storage. Okay, let's get this baby on the air. First, find a spot to operate, away from any power lines. Lay the pole on the ground with the top lying where the pole will stand. Uncoil the support lines and stretch them out from the pole in a big X. Put your stakes in the ground and loop the end of the rope around the stake. Stand up the pole and begin extending the sections, locking them into place. When all sections are extended, the support ropes should loosely support the pole. Tighten each support rope until the antenna stands tall. The sections of the pole are locked only by friction, so don't pull the ropes too tight. Now that the antenna is up, we need a way to connect it to the radio. Here are 3 different ways. The simplest method is to stick the banana plug directly into the radio's antenna jack. Attach the other wire to the ground terminal of the radio, and you're on the air. This will work fine as long as you stick to the band the wire was cut for, in this case 20 meters. Another method is to connect a piece of coax between the wire and the radio using a simple adapter. I built this one from an SO239 connector, a banana jack, and a bolt with some nuts. This allows you to set up your radio farther from the pole. You may need to shorten the wire a bit to fine-tune it for 20 meters. You can use the rig's built-in SWR indicator for that. It's probably going to be close enough as it is. Of course, if you use the coax method, you can always add an external antenna tuner between the radio and the feed line. My favorite way to connect the radio is by using this little auto tuner from Elecraft. I use an adapter to plug the antenna into the antenna jack and then connect the other wire to the ground terminal on the tuner. Finally, connect the radio to the tuner with a piece of coax. This allows me to quickly tune and use the antenna on several bands. Adding ground wires cut to a quarter wavelength on each band will make it work even better. I used this setup for field day this year and filled a log sheet with contacts, mostly east and west coast stations from my yard here in Minnesota. Some were CW, but most were on sideband, and all were made with 5 watts or less. I also used this antenna in the bed of my small truck for portable work, using the cargo tie-downs instead of ground stakes. I can be on the air in no time and operate in comfort. The idea of fishing pole antennas is nothing new. You can find lots of variations on the internet. I just thought I'd show you what works for me. 73 from Whiskey Zero, Zulu Foxtrot. See you on the air.
All right. Yeah. Super.
Videos are... I just wanted to show you what kind of videos are capable, just doing simple stuff like on a cell phone. So keep your videos coming. Again, go see the guidelines. And I did have one message for Ray and Cindy over there. Ray, we know Cindy, we know your call is N9CLN, and we know that you plan to upgrade if you need some books. I know a guy who writes some good ones. Okay, contact us.
That's great. Well, thanks very much, guys. Yeah. That was super.
Julie, not password to her. She's not here with me tonight. She stayed with the grandbabies.
Aha. You don't get to talk to her tonight. Okay. Maybe we can do that next week or whenever. All right. We're very short of time here. I want to see if Cheryl is around. Cheryl, how you doing? Everything okay up in northern Illinois?
It sure is. Hi, Bob. How are you? Hi, this is Cheryl, K9BIK. Greetings to everybody in the chat room. We've got a few things I'd like to cover here, Bob. Some people have some questions for you.
Okay,
Let's see here.
We have 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes.
Let me try and put this out here for KC0EBL. He said, please mention that the IARU HF Championship that this weekend. It's this weekend for all those who didn't get enough field day. So that was one. But Bob, they were kind of excited about your new station and what you're doing out there. And the questions are from KD7CNH, we appreciate your question. What does the lightning protection look like? And K6PER asks the same thing in a way. What does Bob do for lightning protection? But K9TTU typed under that name. So we want to know how you're handling your lightning issue there.
Well, there's one of those things. Those are all balanced antennas, and I don't use any grounds. But go to EHAM. Look up the articles and look up WB2WIK's article on grounding. Then you will understand how you do that. But that's the story. We're so short of time. I wish we had more. Let's take one more, real short one, Cheryl, and then we're going to have to get out of here ready for the next show. What you got? One more.
Okay, quick comment is field day at Bob's next year. That came from N2FYE Andy. But when you had that station you were talking to on the air, N4RMT Randy, he wanted to know how wide was he coming in at, Bob? How wide was he when you were on the
2.9. 2.9. 2.9. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I very seldom listen out past 3. You don't need to. And see, that proves you don't have to have all this 4 and 5 and 6 meg wide. No. So just so you know, you can do it really nicely. Okay, well, thanks a lot to all the chat room. We appreciate that. And thanks to you, Cheryl, and greetings to everybody that's been with us tonight that watch Ham Nation. Pass the word, and be sure and let everybody know we're on Wednesday night. So anything else from Costa Mesa, Gordo? Everything closed down and ready to go back on 40 and 20?
Yeah, we'll be on 40, so see everybody on 7268. See you 40.
Okay, George, I don't guess you'll be on the air tonight. Maybe you get on remotely, huh?
Well, I think I'll use the iPhone maybe and get on Echo Link. That's about all I can do tonight. But I'm going to have Jimmy and Tommy over here Friday night. We're going to play in front of that green screen a little bit. We're going to go visit Ray out here and see his camper, too, while he's in town.
Yeah, okay.
I got to scramble and get things installed on it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for being there, Ray. Thanks to everybody, and Amanda and Jeff. It was really nice to hear that story. Cheryl, thanks a lot for your participation. Wish we had more time there, but we'll do it next week. And we'll be back here again at 8 o'clock Central at the same place. And again, it'll be Ham Nation. So we're going to play out with Joe Walsh and his wonderful theme for you that are listening to the replays. And if you haven't, you should tune into the replays. There's 55 shows there of great interest, and especially Joe's music. So take care, everybody. 7-3, we'll see you on 7268, 14268 on the Afterglow net. So thanks a lot for all, and away we go. 7-3, K9.
And 3850 and 3847 on 75 meters. We'll talk to you then.
It's too hot.
Hey.
I agree. It's hot there. I've got my water here standing by. This is Whiskey Tango 6 Hotel for the Ham Nation Post Show Net on 7268. Stand by for net.